Hello friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. How are you? You look beautiful today. We are gonna be talking about this. Prada Luna Rossa Sport 2024. It's the hottest thing, guys. It's so hot. You take the fragrance, you give it a new bottle, you keep the same name, you slap the year on the end. It's genius. I love it. So yeah, this is the newest 2024/20 whatever fragrance. I can't wait to see what we get in 2025, guys. I am anxious, I am antsy. Drop in the comments what fragrances are gonna have a 2025 iteration next year. Stock up while you can, suckers. That's what the brands are telling us. But yeah, I got the new Prada Luna Rossa Sport in, and we're gonna talk about it. And this is my second time trying to get this thing in. That's what she said. Because I ordered Luna Rossa Sport, this one, when it was new. Like when they first put it up on Prada's website, I ordered this. And then they sent me another bottle of this. So I had like 2 bottles of this and I was like, guys, what are you doing? Apparently they put this up and then like sold it out pretty quick. And so the people that bought this, I guess after it was sold out, they just sent them old bottles of Luna Rossa Sport until they got these back in stock. So I had to return it and then I waited a while. And then I bought it again. Wanted to make sure they had it this time. Now I have this linked in the description. Feel free to check it out there. What do you say you and I begin by taking a scope of this beautiful presentation? So here we have the front of the box. You have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size, and concentration. Mine is 100 ml. It's an eau de toilette. On one side, you have a QR code. On the other side, guess what? You have a QR code. We heard you like QR codes, so we put QR codes on your QR codes. On the back, you have your ingredients, your caution information. Basically, don't spray it in your eyes, don't drink it, don't throw it in a fire. And on the bottom, you've got your batch code. Mine is 38Y5006. And here we got the bottle, and I do actually like this look more than the old one. It's basically gone reverse. Instead of having the red see-through glass on the bottom, it's now at the top portion of the bottle, but it looks good. I like the kind of rubberized matte looking sport at the bottom. Now, when you buy yours, and this is how all Luna Rossas come, it has a little plastic thingamajig that you sit on top of the atomizer. That way it doesn't randomly spray out. But what most people do when they get this in is they go, but I wanted to keep that so I could show you. Now it's gone. On the bottom, you have a sticker with your batch code. Let's share a couple sprays. Actually, let's share a couple sprays of both of these. And the atomizer has changed, so pay attention to how it comes out. Here's the new one. See that? Very concentrated. Now the old one. Oh. So they have changed and updated the atomizer here. Which one is better? That's for you to decide. Before we dive headlong into the fragrance, guys, if you're on TikTok, please throw me a pity follow on there at Gents. Thank you, and I love you. And if you shop online for fragrances, which of course, who doesn't, here are some codes that you can use to save yourself some money. Pay attention to that JOMASHOP code because it is changing, so you wanna know those new ones. And then there are all those other beautiful codes as well. Let's start talking fragrance, shall we? There it is, 120 bones. You can even see the samples I picked. So that's the price point on this one. Honestly, 120 bucks. Pretty good price nowadays. That's for 100 mils, full retail. Can't argue with that, because nowadays a lot of things are, that's the face you make when you see the price. This one you go, hey, 120. I guess the most important thing, is this just this? Is it just a rebottling? Because if you look online, at least as of this video, there are not listings on the big fragrance database websites for this one. You'll just see the original, basically. And I'm also gonna go ahead and give a little blast on the hand right here. I don't know if you can tell from way back there, but look at that, 2 sprays. I'll bring it up close. Here's the original, okay? That's the coverage. Here is the new one. I'm unsure if it was reflected right there, but essentially the new one just absolutely drowns wherever you spray because it's so concentrated. You just get a huge blast and it's like a little lake of fragrance wherever you spray it. This one is much more dissipated by the time it hits your skin. So again, going back to those atomizers, different. But you already knew that. So how do they smell? Well, to me, and this is funny, Luna Rossa Sport Original has more of a gingery sweetness off the top. Why is that funny? Because the original Luna Rossa Sport, a lot of people said, it doesn't really have much ginger in there. I see the note, but I'm not picking a lot of it up. And yet when you spray these on side by side, you go, oh, there's the ginger. I can tell because it's not really here. So that difference that I'm picking up, that's where it's been hiding. So that bit of fresh spiciness off the top, that teeny tinge of aromatics that you get from juniper and ginger. Again, you get more of that in the original, and it is slightly more sweet. It does come across maybe a little more synthetic with that touch of sweetness in the original, but you still get a little more sweetness in this one. And for me, in the first 2-3 minutes, when that difference is most prominent, most recognizable, I prefer the opening to the original a little bit more. Not that the opening here is bad, and not that the opening is like two totally different things or anything like that, but I do give a slight preference to this. Instead, with this new iteration, it's like it focuses in more on that lavender and the vanilla pretty much right away. So it's a little bit more powdery, the new one, and has a touch more of warmth to it. That tonka vanilla mix that you have in Luna Rossa Sport, it comes through a little more clearly in this one when you first spray it on, and especially as it starts to head through the mid. So it's a little bit deeper overall when you smell it, especially side by side. This one has more of a concentration on those top notes, and it gives more of a brightness that kind of takes away part of that depth as it starts to head through the mid when you compare it side by side with this one. And a funny thing about that is possibly down to the description of this new fragrance. When you look on Prada's website, they say that it has an intense hay accord, which I don't know if that's like the best thing for advertising or not. They know more than me, but yeah, I don't know. I can just imagine going up to your average person and being like, hey, I got a new sport fragrance for you, bud. New gym fragrance, homie. It's gonna have you smelling nice. And then they're like, okay, well, what's it smell like? Okay, it's got a fresh ginger, bright, zingy, uplifting. And they go, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Lavender, clean, fresh, a little bit soapy. All right, I can see that. Yeah, I want to smell clean. And here it is, man. This is what makes it intense. Freaking hay, man. Hay, like on a farm. Yeah, dude, hay. Like where the animals take dumps in and they just lay in it, roll around it, and they eat it. Hay. It's got hay, and it's intense. I can just imagine them being like, that's okay, man. That sounds good, though. You keep it up, man. You, all right. Intense hay. But those of us in the know, which is you and me, we know that tonka can have a little bit of a hay type descriptive scent profile. So it's kind of that. It's the tonka. Just say tonka. Hay. Jesus Christ. But as I said, it does come across a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier, a little bit more focused on that tonka with the vanilla, particularly as it dries. And this one has more of like the vanilla here, the tonka underneath, not quite as rich. And when you smell these side by side, especially as they head through the mid into the dry down, they are different. That could technically be down, I guess, to this being new and that being an older bottle, but all I can go off of is what I have in front of me and what I'm smelling. This goes a little bit sweeter in a warm sense. I know I said that before, but it's especially apparent as it starts to dry down. That tonka comes out a good amount in this one. The lavender stays there. It gives a nice clean edge. Again, a touch powdery, not overly so. Whereas this one stays a little zingier, a little bit fresher for longer, and has less of an emphasis on that tonka, less heavy, less bold. And to my own taste, I actually like the mid and the dry down more of this one. But to be fair, Luna Rossa Sport was never my favorite Luna Rossa. I like Luna Rossa Black more. I like Luna Rossa Carbon more. I like the original Luna Rossa more. I like the discontinued Extreme more. I think really the only one that I very clearly like less than the original Sport is O Sport. And so this one is, for me, a little bit of an improvement, but it is kind of a different fragrance overall. I think this one is actually sportier for what that's worth. It was never like the absolute freshest sport fragrance out there, but this one still I would wear in typical sport situations, whatever those are, over this one. So it's kind of like different strokes for different folks, right? Depends on what you're after, what you prefer, what you like more as to which iteration of this is gonna be more your style. I think this actually comes across like a spring and fall fragrance more than it does summer. Maybe summer evenings, it would work there pretty well, actually. But middle of the day when it's pretty hot, I think I'd go something else. And in terms of performance, this one's stronger. Now, part of that could be down to this, that style of atomizer. Wherever you spray, it's getting sprayed. But wearing these side by side, this one has a little more push, lasts a little bit longer, so I get a little more oomph from the new one. And as I mentioned before, 120 bucks for this. I can't fault anything here for that price. Eventually it's gonna hit discounters. It's probably gonna be about what this one is, which is what, like mid 80s, I think, for a 100 ml size bottle. That seems to be about the the going price. It is fairly simple in how it comes across, so I guess you could knock that a little bit. And the longer it stays, the Tonka that's in here is vaguely reminiscent to the Tonka in Luna Rossa Black. It's not the same fragrance as Luna Rossa Black. You're not gonna confuse the two. I'm just talking about that aspect from Black. It's like part of that is in here as well. So there we are, Luna Rossa Sport 2024, yet another fragrance that has been changed in year, and also fragrance, and also bottle style, but not name. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.